This is weigh-in for fight 266, which was down in Patalung, which is the south of Thailand. This is the morning of the fight, so weigh-in and fight same day. The fight was set at 44 kilos. This is me weighing in at 43.6. There was a difference in scales of where I was cutting weight and where I was checking, so I was a little bit under. This is me calling Phetseemuen, who is the 105-pound legend of the South. He's who set up this fight for me. Pretty cool to weigh in and then call Hippie on the phone and let him know it's finished. And I'm ready to fight that night. He was sending people to corner for me, and he actually showed up to be there for my fight as well, which was really cool. Sylvie, secretary. So this is this very cool stadium down in Patalung. This was an all-female fight card with women from 14 different districts in the south. I was the only Farang, the only Westerner on the whole card. And there were 2 women on there that I had already fought previously, which was kind of cool. I normally fight people much bigger than me. That's totally my norm. If you look at my complete fight record, the number of times I've fought someone my own size is very rare. Phetseemuen this is my opponent, Jumliat. She's local. She's fought on TV before. She's very skilled, actually. Phetseemuen is the legend of the South, and he was 105-pound champion. He's known as the 105-pound legend of the South, and he was that size forever. Fought everybody. He gave up size a lot, and he fought people on their way up, like as they were rising in size. He would catch them in that area where they were near 105. He has known me for a number of years. He's in the Muay Thai Library. We've trained together a number of times. He actually came to my gym last year and just totally wrecked it for an hour. It was really cool. But he booked this fight for me, and even though he knows that I fight people bigger, he was always fighting people bigger as well. And I think that it was really important to him to get me a fight at my size. So this fight is at 44 kilos, which is 96 pounds. I came in at 43.6, which is 95 pounds. I'm small. My opponent was 44 kilos. So this is actually truly we're the same size. It's very, very rare that I get to do that. The referee's actually asking her if she's wearing a cup. He had asked me in the corner, and she's like, no, I'm wearing my low blow, which I always wear my low blow. So when he asked me, I was like, yes, I am. This is a local head honcho in Patalung, giving us our garlands before the fight. And if you look over kind of this woman who's taking photos of us over here to the left, not the one in the white shirt, but the one who was standing up before in red, that's Hippie's girlfriend. He's sitting right next to her in a red shirt. But Hippie had never actually seen me fight live. He's seen videos of my fights and things like this. He knows that I fight bigger. But now that he's seen me fight live at my own size, we'll see what he wants to book me for next time. But I was super excited to get on this card and to have Hippie book a fight for me, because I actually really like Hippie a lot for a number of reasons. I really like him personally, and he was just an excellent, awesome fighter. I love fighters who fight up. I think it's a very honorable thing for people. And Dieselnoy, who's actually quite big, he's like the opposite of Hippie. He also fought bigger than himself, and he makes a big deal about the worth of a fighter being whether they could fight outside of their weight class or not. So I take that as a serious point of honor coming from Dieselnoy. These people in my corner are friends of Hippie's. They have gyms local in Patalung. He knows everybody in the South. He knows everyone. So they're friends of his by association. There's a very strong identity of Southern people in Thailand. So being of the South or from the South is a very strong identity in Thailand. Jumliat, my opponent, had previously fought on ZC Coffee promotion on TV, which they work in association with Pet Yin D. Phetseemuen is a huge promoter in Thailand, kind of like second only to One Song Chai. And Phetseemuen, since COVID, has been promoting at Rangsit Stadium instead of at Rajadamnern, which is where they were before. Interestingly, Rangsit Stadium allows women to fight in it, whereas Rajadamnern doesn't. So COVID allowed Phetseemuen to have women on their promotions in this very weird, like, bonus thing to happen out of a pandemic. And Jumliat fought on the CC Coffee / Phetseemuen promotion. So I've seen her fight on TV before. She has a very beautiful Ramoi. There were a lot of people at this event, like watching in the stands. They were very into the fights. It was very cool. I went to the bathroom in order to change my shirt. And as I was waiting in line, a group of like 10 girls came up and wanted to take selfies with me. And apparently kids these days don't take photo selfies. They take like boomerang, like TikTok type selfies. So I took a bunch of those with these girls, and I was kind of like, you should wait until I change my shirt. It's way more impressive when all my tattoos are showing. I was wearing a t-shirt prior to that, but I got a bunch of them sending them to me, friending me afterwards. So I have a few of those boomerang photos, which is cool. I had stopped by the gym that Olay is teaching at, which is north of this. It was on our way down. We drove 14 hours to get down to Patalung from Pattaya, and we stopped at his gym first, Paranchai. And I didn't get to train with him for the library. It's kind of like a recon mission. We're like setting that up. But as I was talking to them, being like, no, I can't come tomorrow. I'm fighting tomorrow. They were like, oh my God, are you the one fighting Jumliat? And I was like, yeah. So I guess she's pretty well known, not only in Patalung, but also in the surrounding areas. It's like, yeah. They also gave us the biggest referee of the entire night. So we look extra tiny next to this enormous referee for our fight. The ring was super slippery. We were the co-main event. So the referee here is trying to get some of the water off of the decal, which is like the slipperiest part. But the entire ring was just, when you're late in a fight, especially like a festival fight or something where there's less regulation of the water on the ring, it is very slick. It's like the ice capades of Muay Thai when you're late on a card. So this was my first fight, fighting with my new fight name, which is Chemical X. They're announcing Petrungrung because I'm known as that, and so they're using it, but this was my first official Chemical X. I'm kind of trying to dance around the decal because it's so slippery. So round one, you'll hear everyone cheering for Jumliat's strikes. She's landing open side kicks. Those score highly, and she's got a good teep. So she's getting me off of her here. She's got good, in Thai they call it Jangwat. It's rhythm and timing. So she's basically moving back. She's got a nice little like parry. The moment I grabbed her here in the clinch though, there was a definite understanding of the difference in our styles. I actually turned her and dragged her backwards into the ropes. So there's a little bit of a difference in who's screaming based on that. So I caught her kick and did not get like a huge point off of it. It's round one. We're just kind of like feeling each other out, but we're definitely feeling each other. I'm moving around the decal again. Nice little return on the leg kick after I got her right there. She's a little bit more excited than I am, a little nervous. She might know my name already coming in. She might know I fight bigger people. She was strong, actually. She has clinch technique. She just doesn't have the, like, physical strength that I have at this weight. I'm very strong for my size. This part is my favorite. She looks at her corner after I put her down the first time. And I was like, I saw her do that, and I was just like, oh, This is this is not gonna go all the way. That's a nice teep from her though. She is definitely keeping me off of her and moving me back. I'm trying to like move through her and kind of do the Dern Fighter's Ning, which is like you get hit but you just don't care on the way in. It's like a full-on turn. When I saw her fight on TV, she did a lot of this wall of China, so I was prepared for this. So when she put her knee up, I've been practicing doing these turns when she's on one leg with Yod Kun Pan, and Pinu actually has taught me what to do when people do that. So I have a few things that I can do in that situation, but more than anything, when I was training for it, I was just trying to train the timing on it, like trying to make my response much faster. My corner here, my corner is telling me, block those left kicks from her because they're coming to my open side. So basically it's like Sylvie's tracking Jumliat down, and it's going to continue going that way. When I grab her in the clinch, I definitely have the advantage, but they're like, don't let her score on you on your way in. So their advice immediately from round one is to block my open side as I'm coming in. These stools are so low. When you get leg kicked, which I'm not, but when you get leg kicked and you have a tiny, tiny stool like that, it's rough in the corner. There's a guy standing. If you look along the ropes, there's a guy standing. He's clapping right now, like in the middle of the ropes. This guy's a gambler who tipped me 100 baht before my fight. Before I even got in the ring, he gave me a tip of 100 baht, which is very cool. He's clearly betting on me. Here we go. Sylvie's turning a little harder, blocking, not the open side, but blocking a bit. Again, trying to move around that damn decal. I just stopped and moved off it, like, just very relaxed. Just, I don't want to stand here, so I just moved off it. Here, she has knowledge to, like, she's putting her hips in and she's trying to block me with her shins, which is actually really good. She's, like, pumping her legs to keep my knees off, but she just does not know how to deal with my lock. And when I'm pushing her head down, that's not a good thing for her. It's a breaking of the root, so it's a point by itself, but it's also very dangerous because I do knee people in the head. Here, she's getting her head pushed down, but she's using the wall of China effectively. I'm able to push her off of me and stick to her, which I don't think she was anticipating. She was a little bit panicked. She was starting to breathe heavier at this point. I'm dragging back and kneeing, so these are good points. You can actually hear the crowd screaming, indicating the high points there. That's an elbow to a knee. That puts her down for a count. I'm waiting. Hippie is actually putting his hands in the air. He's like, no, no, no. He's trying to let the referee know, don't count her, like, stop the fight. But the referee did not listen, and that's the end of the fight there. I did not hit her super hard in the head. I think that she was panicked more than anything. Hippie's standing up and looking. He's now seeing this is why Sylvie does not fight girls her size. So I say thank you and then go check on the opponent always. She's okay. She was, I think, startled more than anything. She's nodding at me. She's like, it's all right. She did get, in Thai they say juk. Juk is to like have the wind knocked out of you, or like when you get hit in the stomach and you're like, huh. So she's experiencing that. And she was panicked by the knee to the head, but it was not a like knockout knee to the head. So there's another fight after me, so they're just getting everything ready for that. Jumliat's already up, getting out. Kevin showing the crowd a little bit. There were these like stands up to the left. When I walked through here, when I had changed into my tank top, there was this kind of like murmuring because people had not. You can see my tattoos on the poster and the photo on the poster in the front, but they definitely weren't ready for it as I was walking through seeing it in person. There's Jumliat. She's all right. I stayed to watch the main event because the main event was between a woman who I've previously fought before at Patong Stadium. Her name is Phetseemuen. I'd beat her before, and she was fighting for a title against an opponent who the promoter said he wants me to fight next. So I was staying to watch this opponent who they want me to fight because I don't really know how she fights. And when I was sitting there, Jumliat, my opponent from tonight, came and sat next to me, and we talked for the entire fight. Like, I actually missed most of the fight because we were chatting to each other. And she kept asking me, like, have you fought this person, that person, all this stuff. This me with Hippie and the team taking photos. Pretty awesome to have Hippie bring me down like that. So I got to talk to my opponent and hang out with my opponent for, like, 15 minutes while we were watching the final fight of the night. She's a very, very sweet girl. Hippie actually complained to me after this fight. We came back over here and he was helping take my gloves off. And he was like, I brought you down here. I brought you down. And then you go and knock her out like Diesel Noy. Like, he knows I'm a knee fighter. But I think he wanted me to do more hippie-like movements. This is a beautiful belt that they have down here on the right. This guy's blocking it now, but you can see it when his shoulder's out of the way. There were 4 fights that night for titles, I think Southern titles, at 95, 100, 105, and one more weight, I can't remember. But this is the promoter who we're talking to now about my next fight. Hippie is actually telling him that he had convinced this guy to find me a fight at my weight, and the guy was like, we know Sylvie, she's very strong. So they were proposing this woman who is in the main event as my next opponent. She's bigger than me. She'll be 50 kilos, and I'm, again, weighed in at 43.6 for this one. I walk around lately at like 45, 46. So I am small. Hippie's tiny at 105 pounds. That's the smallest weight you can have a belt at one of the stadiums as like Lumpini. 105 pounds, and I'm 95 pounds. I'm even smaller than Hippie, which is crazy. This is our little staging area over here. I really liked this kid who was helping in my corner. He was kind of getting instructed on how to be a corner man while giving me my massage, which was cool. I was like kind of the like training wheels for him learning how to take care of fighters. That's a really beautiful shot. Kevin's camera work lately has just been really beautiful, and his camera equipment, thank you to my patrons who allow us to upgrade our equipment and then allows us to create better content and do different and more things. Like we get better sound equipment and then we can do interviews. Here's Hippie. Hippie's very expressive when he's telling stories and talking about things. I don't remember what he's telling me here, but he wanted me to like be more like watching and stinging in the early rounds. There were only the early rounds. It was round 2 knockout, but he wanted more of a like kind of waiting and punishing with like leg kicks and things like this. He's very sweet. Hippie is very funny and very sweet. He's one of the few people I've ever met who's like insanely confident, and you're like, yes, you deserve to be that confident in every way. None of it is front.
Hey, I am just walking on the street outside of Fight 266. I'm in Patalung, which is in the south, way far south. And this fight was set up for me by Hippie Singmani. Hippie is the legend of the South, 105 pounds. Like, everyone loves Hippie. He is the champion of the South. So he set up a fight for me that's actually at my weight. So this fight was set at 44 kilos, which is a little bit under what I walk around at. So I did have to cut weight, which I almost never have to do. I weighed in at 43.6. My opponent weighed in at 44. This is kind of why I don't fight people my size, is that it's just, I'm very strong, and it's not close when we're similar size. I was so anxious. I was actually really scared of this fight because I almost never fight people my size. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. It was a round 2 KO. She was definitely not ready for what I feel like when I grab people in the clinch, and kind of like walking through for weapons and stuff like that. I definitely saw her looking at her corner and was like, what the fuck is this? So Hippie was more or less happy. He gave me some points on what he wanted me to do in my next fight, but he's also like, okay, now that I've seen you in person fighting, now I know, and they're gonna try to match me up again. The promoter's very happy, so hopefully I'll be fighting down here again. They're already talking about who my next opponent will be, and I fought 2 girls who are on this card, so this is an all-female card in the South, which is really cool. I don't know how often they do this, but it's southern provinces, so 14 different areas of the South are all fighting on this card tonight, and there are like 3 or 4 Southern Championship titles, which is cool. But I fought 2 of the women on this card who are bigger than me, and I was like, oh no, I fought her already, and they were like, oh my god. So I fought a lot of people. 266 again. It was very cool. I didn't have Hippie directly in my corner, but he was there before the fight, talking to me after talking to me, and he set up the corner for me, so they were his friends, which was really cool too. It's always fun to like have people that don't know you in your corner, because they're like, do this, and then they see what you are, and you're like, oh yeah, no, that's what you are. So yeah. I hate to be one of those people who's like not happy with a win. I feel like, if I'm being honest about it, I feel like I could have taken the super fucking rare opportunity of fighting someone my size to try some things that I don't often get to do, because fighting people so much bigger than me really limits a lot of the things that I'm able to even attempt in fights. So I wish that I had kind of like slowed down and maybe tried a little bit more of the things that I've been working on in a fight where I don't have the pressure of size. But you know what? You fight the way that you fight. You go into your fight mode. You regress to what you know. Like, all of these things are reality of fights. And I never want to be that person who's like, I could have done better. You can always do better. Don't even have to say. You can always do better. So happy for the opportunity. Thank you to Hippie. Thank you to my sponsors, Low Blow and Onyx MMA is on my back. This is my first fight. Yay! It's my first. Let's Hippie. It's my first fighting with my new name, which is Sylvie Kemical X. Not fighting with the Phetseemuen name anymore, even though it's announced 8 million times during the fight, because everyone knows me as Sylvie Phetseemuen. It's gonna be a long time before that name changes over. But first official one, and I'm wearing my shorts from Thai Claw, which has the Powerpuff Girls.
The fight before Sylvie's fight. Just starting the video a little bit early. Sylvie will be the next fight. This is the 5th round. But there's some amazing female fights going on. This is almost an entirely all-female card. If you guys are joining us, this is the end of the fight before Sylvie's. Guys, let me know if you get audio. We're trying new audio. If you can hear my voice. We're trying a new way of broadcasting the fights. That's the cheerleading section. Yeah, it's very crowded. I'm gonna move the video as soon as this fight clears out. Hopefully the fans will move. We're just starting the live video right now.
ผลการให้คะแนนของกรรมการทั้ง3ท่านนะครับกรรมการทุกคนที่มาครับให้เบอร์49หน้าเบอร์47กรรมการคนนี้ ใช้จำนวนให้เดิน49
Thank you, Andre.
กรรมการธีรพลเข้าต่อการให้เดิน49ด้านบน
They're reading the results of the fight leading to Sylvie's fight. We got all these fans here.
แล้วก็ขอการเรียนเชิญผู้กล้าเข็มขัดมวยคู่นี้ครับขอการเรียนเชิญคุณยินดีกันยืนยัน
That's the winner of the fight before Sylvie's.
ให้เกียรติขึ้นคาดเข็มขัดนักมวยครับน้องแนนครับน้องแนนครับอยู่ไหนครับน้องแนน
Okay, I'm hoping some of these fans will clear out and I can move to a better vantage point for Sylvie's fight.
ขึ้นไปเลยครับคุณบุญยงจำรูนวรเกียรตินะครับกรรมการผู้จัดการรถไฟฟ้าเทียนจางนะครับให้เกียรติมอบคาดเข็มขัดให้กับนักมวย
Having a belt put on her. This is the fight before Sylvie's fight on a giant female card here.
แล้วก็คืนนี้คุณบุญยงจำรูนวรเกียรตินะครับกรรมการผู้จัดการรถไฟฟ้าเทียนจางนะครับก็ได้รถมอบรถมอเตอร์ไซค์ไฟฟ้าให้กับสมาคมมวยไทยอาชีพหญิง14จังหวัดภาคใต้ด้วยนะครับ
Sylvie should be up next. We're probably going to be some presentations. I wanted to start the video early because it's pretty hectic in a new stadium we've never been in before.
จังหวัดสมุทรสาครนะครับก็รถไฟฟ้า
You guys are just joining us. Sylvia should be the next fight.
น้องแนนครับน้องแนนจับน้องแนนขึ้นไปดีนะครับน้องแนนขึ้นจับเบอร์กับเพชรมะนาวเลยครับจะมีโปรแกรมรายการหน้านะครับวันที่เท่าไหร่นะครับเดี๋ยวกล้าไหมก็บอกมาจะเป็นป้องกันแชมป์105 ปอนด์นะป้องกันแชมป์105 ปอนด์นะครับคุณโชคใจคุณว่าใครชนะครับเดินจากหมายเลขไว้เบอร์ไปนะครับน้องแนนนะครับขึ้นเวทีหน่อยครับน้องแนนขึ้นบนเวทีเลยครับน้องแอนพอประนอมนะครับขึ้นบนเวทีครับเพื่อนด้วยครับเพื่อนให้ได้ไหมครับจะเป็นวันไหนก็ติดตามนะครับเพื่อนพนาวอย่าเพิ่งลงนะครับเพื่อนพนาวเดี๋ยวจะเร็วน้องแนนก่อนนะครับเร็วเส้นเดียวลงเลย
This is just after the last fight. Sylvie's up next.
นี่ครับผู้นี้ครับจะเป็นการป้องกันแชมป์นะครับเพื่อนพนาวจะดูแลกับน้องแนนพอประนอมครับ105 ปอนด์โดยโปรโมเตอร์มือจานสมองใสนะครับจ่าหมายพาวัยมวยไทยจะเป็นวันที่เท่าไหร่ชกที่ไหนนะครับก็คอยติดตามข่าวนะครับมวยคู่นี้นะครับ
Okay, Sylvie's in the blue corner in the next fight.
คู่ต่อไปมาเลยครับจุ่มเนื้อพัดที่เหลือครับนักชกต่างด้านมุมแดงครับนักชกต่างด้านมุมน้ำเงินซิมรี่เพชรรุ่งเรือง
Sylvie's opponent,
ไม่ธรรมดานะครับ
Phetseemuen
อเมริกันนะโดยการนำของอิตตี้สิงห์บุรีนะครับดูหน้าตาเหมือนผู้ชายเพี้ยนเลยดูนี้ต้องจับตาดูนะครับนักมวยที่หาคู่ชกยากอีกคนหนึ่งครับนักมวยที่นี้เป็นผู้จัดการเลขาสมาคมนะครับ
So if you guys are just joining us, this is a giant all-female card.
เหนื่อยทั้งวันเลยครับวันนี้
almost all female, I should say.
คู่กับจ่าหมายวันนี้นะครับ
Down in the south is a fight booked by
มีโร
Hippie.
เบิร์ตบัคต้องมีจ่าหมายนะครับ
Singmani, the legend.
คู่นี้นะครับเป็นมวยหญิงนะครับ
Hippie's never really dealt with Sylvie as a fighter. He's a very small fighter himself when he fought, so he booked a fight with Sylvie at pretty much the lowest weight she's fought ever. She cut down to 96 pounds, under 44 kilos. The fight was at 44 kilos.
จะจับหรือไม่จับได้หรือไม่ได้ครับ
We don't know a lot about her opponent,
ตากล้องนะครับจับกล้องไว้ด้วยครับถ่ายภาพไว้
but
ด้วย
from
นี่นะครับ
what we've heard, she's a champion and a star down in the south.
ในอาชีพหญิง14จังหวัดภาคใต้
The fight style that we saw in the show, like all the whole card, lots and lots of knees. The girls fight with knees down here and elbows. So actually a really nice style.
สมาชิกนะครับปาอิสราเอลซูรีนะครับหรือว่าจ่ามะใส่ดูนะครับ
Sylvie's actually really nervous to be fighting somebody her size. She hasn't fought somebody her size in a long time. And a lot of her style is based on trying to beat bigger fighters. And when you fight bigger fighters, there's things you have to do that won't necessarily work against small fighters or fighters your size. So it's going to be very interesting to see if she adjusts to fighting someone her size. Strength should be in her favor, but
ต่อยนักเรียนก็ซินวี่ครับรุ่นเรียนนะจับมาเยอะจับได้ข่าวจับมาเยอะนี่การเรียนมวยไทยนะครับชอบกับชื่นชอบในกีฬามวยไทยครับเรียนเพื่อบุญละ2,000นะครับนี่ต้องแรงยกตู้จ่ายค่าเล่าเรียนนะครับแต่นักมวยไทยเราไม่ต้องจ่ายนะครับไม่ต้องจ่ายค่าเล่าเรียนนักมวยต่างชาติมาเรียนมวยไทยต้องเสียเงินเสียทองนะครับมีได้ข่าวครับจบเป็นร้อยนะครับจ่าหมายไปสื่อมานะครับจบเป็นร้อยครั้งนะครับโดยการนำของอิปปี้สิงห์นารีนะครับเป็นนักชกฝรั่งที่หลงไหลที่ชอบในกีฬามวยไทยยอมลงทุนนะครับ
many,
Many.
many, many. 200.
ช่องไม่เคยเห็นนะครับต้องติดตามนะครับจบจากวันแดงก็ไม่ทราบเลยที่เป็นประจำนะครับจะอยู่ที่นี่ตลอดนะครับถึงเรียนPhetseemuenนะครับ
Somebody from the audience was asking me how many times Sylvie had fought, probably because they're deciding how they want to bet.
ผู้ของคิดมาพอนะครับไม่ธรรมดานะครับ
It's going to be a really interesting fight.
40 นาทีย้ำนะครับไม่ธรรมดานะครับ
It should be easier to fight someone your size, but when you fought way up in weight, like up to 60 kilos, up to like 15, 17 kilos more, you develop a Muay, like a certain kind of style, a sense of timing or how to use power, when to use power.
ลงลึกไปชำนาญแล้วก็ตีระพงก็ตอมต่ำนะอาจารย์ทวีอยู่ไหมครับอาจารย์ทวีครับพบจ่ามะด้วยนะครับอาจารย์ทวีระเบียบนะครับอยู่ไหนกันมาพบจ่ามะด้วยนะครับอาจารย์ทวี
So things to look for in this fight. Early on, when Sylvie clinches up, does the girl have a good technical counter? Like, is she able to stymie Sylvie early? Sylvie uses a couple of positions in the clinch that are not usual, not seen very often, especially among female fighters.
ออกทีวีครับส่วนมากฝรั่งจะชนะมวยไทยนะครับเดี๋ยวนี้ต้องติดตามนะครับที่ขอให้กับฝ่ายนักเรียนนะครับคุณสมฤทธิ์
The girls down here seem to be very tough, very aggressive game. Even girls early in the card that weren't super experienced were super aggressive. But what we've heard about this girl, she's a very good defensive fighter.
ยาวสีครับนะครับแต่สิ่งที่จะเป็นวิธีครับห้ามกับด้วยตานะครับมวยพวกนี้ครับอะไรก็เกิดขึ้นได้ครับยกที่หนึ่ง
So if you're going left, which we like. So we're trying to stay close, offering a teep of her own. The girl's teeping Sylvie. She's probably has heard to stay away from Sylvie, that she's incredibly strong. First clinch up. Sylvie already had a little off balance in the clinch. From a bad position, she had outside. Eats a kick. Ref breaks the clinch. Sylvie's trying to smother her. Repositions herself. Low kicks. Looks like Sylvie got something in her eye or something on that break. Another clinch up. Knee to the face. Down on the ground. Sylvie itching to get back in the open side kick by the girl. I think the girl's a little bit freaked out by Sylvie's strength. Sylvie's teeping her pretty hard. Sylvie's being teeped pretty hard. Again in the clinch, outside position. Sylvie's too strong. It was a decent round. The girl had some good points scored, open side kicks. So got Sylvie to take poor outside position in the clinch, like she's not inside her frame, and she's still able to control her opponent. Audience is calling for old. Over 30. Somebody asked how old Sylvie was in the audience. To me, that round looked like both fighters were a little bit shocked by something that the other did. Like a little jolt. It bodes well for Sylvie to be able to control her from weak outside positions, but she's got to get in her frame. And then you'll see something. Touch gloves. Nice check. The teep is working against Sylvie. Sylvie repositioning herself. First elbow from Red. Sylvie's locked. Nice knee. There's her arm loop. Pretty famous. Another score. Another score by Sylvie. She's breaking a root. She's breaking a root. Head down. Sylvie's got to crowd her. Points scored against Sylvie. I think this girl's not used to clinching with somebody as strong as Sylvie. Sylvie clinging very nicely. Scoring. Scoring. Dragging back. Big knee. Creating space. I think this girl's not used to someone as strong as Sylvie. Little elbow. Getting a count already. Red looked at her corner or somebody, and she got yelled at. Knee to the head. I think that's it. Very good fighter, but I think she's just not used to somebody as strong at 44 kilos in the clinch with as Sylvie. She's like technically sound, like Sylvie's technically sound and very, very strong. I think the girl got a little bit overwhelmed at the continuity in the clinch. Just very, very strong at this weight. I mean, she's strong at any weight, but these fights crowded like this are just amazing. Like, this is what Muay Thai is about. I'm making my way through the crowd. They're trying to get in position. People are getting in position for the next fight, which is the last fight. Where'd she go? Oh, she's taking photos, maybe? Sylvie's taking photos. Oh yeah, there she is. There she is with Hippie Singmani, who helped arrange the fight. She just trained with him, filmed with him for the Muay Thai Library. It's one of the newest sessions. By the way, if the Muay Thai is very long, you sleep like that, like a baby. Hippie giving a thumbs up.
น้องพรทิพย์สอนธนากรนะครับเสร็จหรือยังครับเสร็จแล้วขึ้นเวทีเลยครับ
She was nervous about this fight because of the weight. That is just unfamiliar to be fighting somebody her weight. Hippie's giving her, I think he's telling her who this gentleman is. Looks like she's getting advice about how she fought her fight. We're hoping that through Hippie we'll get more fights in the South. There's really three big centers of Muay Thai outside of Bangkok: Chiang Mai in the north, the south, where we are now, and Isan. And we've never really fought in the South before.
นี่นะครับนี่เลยครับนักมวยตรงกลางเลยครับเสร็จแล้วก็ไปยืนตรงกลางเลยครับ
Hey, Sweet Pea.
Thank you guys for watching.
This is a gambler that tipped 100 baht before the fight. He came over and gave Sylvie 100 baht. Okay, thank you everybody for supporting her.
ตัวนี้ก็ฝ่ายน้ำมันก็มีเดิมพันมา3,000นะครับฝ่ายแดงสนใจไหมครับ
เป็นเสื้อชีบอกพี่ชีนะครับบอกว่ามีอยู่แล้ว